the host and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation
Oakley Scott
and your
Corporation
sports
and
network.
your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would fall. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig, and joining me is Ty Bartell, as always.
Yes.
Hold on. Let's get in that little
I was gonna
box.
say- I was going
Boop.
to say.
And we're going to have a really big day before we preview it. Let's get right to the coaches and our continuation of the spring sports previews. We're joined at the top of the show by Michael Cook, the head coach of the Western Reserve Blue Devil softball team. Coach Cook, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good, Coach. Thank you again.
How are you doing, Coach? I mean, weather patterns kind of been playing with your emotions, I feel like, the last few days with spring coming around.
You know what? We had a scrimmage last night, and as beautiful as it looked, it got cold at the end. So, we practiced one day last week, and one of the girls said that was probably the warmest she's been on a softball field in like 2 years. So,
This springtime, it can play tricks on you. It can be warm during the day, but when that sun starts to go down, all of a sudden it's still chilly.
yep, no doubt.
Coach, we want to meet your team. We want to meet the roster. I want to give you the chance to run down the players that you have to this year and some of the impact players you'll have and maybe some of the new names as well that people should keep an eye out for.
Well, you know what, guys? This is our second year as a coaching staff with Western Reserve. Last year, we finished 13-12. Did a great job of the girls adjusting to us and with us adjusting to them. We came on later in the year. We unfortunately lost in the district semifinal to a very, very good East Canton team, but overall our season was a success. Going forward, we have 4 seniors and we have 2 freshmen that are trying to get in with the program, and we're going to need all our girls to step up and have a role in everything that we do.
Coach, let's talk about some of these girls you're going to lean on heavily for the leadership quality of these teams, because we know when you guys get into the dugout, it's easy to talk and it's easy to coach, but when you're on the field, those girls are all alone. You need adjustments being made too. You can only yell so loud from the dugout too. So who do you lead on for your on-field coaches there too as well?
Well, you know what? We like I said, we have 4 seniors. My starting pitcher, Joni Dagnan, she is a senior leader for us. She pitched last year for us. We lean heavily on her. Also, another senior, Madison Gatto. She plays third base for us. She's been influential talking to the girls. You guys know, because you guys have been around for a while. I can scream and yell. My assistants can scream and yell, but it's the girls, it's the older girls that the younger girls listen to. I got a couple juniors, Alexa Abrams, Hannah Heath. Both are going to contribute a lot, along with our third and our backup pitcher, Maggie Byers. All played roles for us last year, along with this year. We had an outstanding sophomore class, led by Allison Jones, who's her catcher, our leadoff hitter. Her sister, Lindsay Jones, unfortunately, playing basketball this past winter, blew out her ACL, so she's out for this season. Another girl, Kaylee Seeley, who will help us out tremendous. She's our shortstop. All those girls were all conference last year for all of us. And then some of the young girls, we have a sophomore who this is her first year playing for us, Lexi Pence. She'll play second base for us. And again, like I said, we just need our seniors to lead us in the right direction.
Coach, we all know that this conference is loaded. That you play in. You got McDonald to deal with. Springfield's got a great team. Jackson Milton's going to be good. Waterloo's going to be. Everyone's going to be kind of competitive in this MVAC Scarlet tier. Talk about your conference, where you think you guys fit in it, and the rest of your schedule as well, and how much you think it'll prepare you for tournament time.
Well, you know what? Like I said last year, with it being our first year, it was first time for myself and my assistant coaches to see the talent inside this division. Very, very impressed with Waterloo. Waterloo, McDonald, obviously very, very good. Springfield, Jackson Milton, Mineral Ridge. Everybody can on any given day, weekend day, or whatever, compete against one another. Our non-conference schedule, I know we play Fitch. We also play Champion. A couple other teams that will get ready for us and will help us get ready for the tournament. One thing that we did last year and we realized is we needed to bump our schedule up to get ready for the tournament. And I know my girls are excited about the schedule that we have in front of us.
Finish this sentence for me, Coach. We can have a shot at winning the conference if?
Number one, we have to stay healthy. We don't have a lot of girls, so we have to stay healthy first and foremost. And we just need to come together. We talk about every day taking a step on that ladder. So every day we just need to get a little bit better. Whether, if it's playing catch, if it's fielding ground balls, catch and pop flies, just every day we need to do a little bit better than we did the previous day.
Coach, your second year in the program, you started to build the culture. You've had a year to build the culture. What kind of philosophy, culture, and personality do you want to instill into this softball team? And if your players were asked what it means to be a Blue Devil under Coach Cook, what would you hope that they respond to that question with?
Well, first of all, I have two outstanding assistant coaches, Joe Mazurek and Kay Bartow, who they allow me to be who I am. I'm a motivator. I yell and scream a little bit, not negative, but I like to be their biggest cheerleaders, so to speak. A lot of times my assistant coaches will calm me down, and the girls feed off all three of us as coaches. What I want, again, when we first came in, we took over a program that, hadn't played in a couple of years because of COVID and everything else. So we wanted to build from the ground up. First thing we did, we went down to the youth organization here in Western Reserve and talked to them people to get them involved. We wanted to do a night where we had all the youth teams from the WRBO come in and see the girls play. But unfortunately, like you guys said earlier, the beautiful Northeast Ohio weather didn't allow us to do that. So we just want to get in and have their coaches and their girls meet the varsity girls and, build from the bottom up.
Coach, I think as well as I do, in the realm of coaching, one question that all student athletes always want to know is the why you're doing something, because it helps them put everything together. It helps everything click. What is the why for Coach Cook's style of coaching? In other words, what is the life lessons to be taken from your style of coaching? What are these things that they carry on with them for the rest of their lives? What is the why behind your coaching, Coach?
Well, again, we try to. I don't want to get too into this, but we teach life lessons. If you can do things on the softball field, if you do things in the classroom to better yourself on an everyday basis, when you get out of school and get into real life, it'll help you. Whether if you're dealing with a bad day at school, or if you're having a bad day, either pitching or hitting or fielding, you got to learn how to take it in stride and just try to get better every single day, everything you do. That's one thing I think we as coaches try to tell our girls. There's going to be days when, you're not going to have the best day. Reset, refocus, get yourself better, and the next time up, try to do better than what you did the previous time.
Coach, we know that you already mentioned your assistants and some of the things that they do, but I do want to give you the time to go a little bit more in depth on your whole staff and all the people that kind of go into making this softball program what it is and what they each bring to the program.
Well, first of all, I always give a shout out to our superintendent, Dallas Saunders, who and our athletic director, Ellen Mikovich, and our principal, Mike Sanders, who allow me and my coaches to be who we are, and just, coach the girls on an everyday basis. Like I said, Coach Maz and Coach K, we've been together from our previous coaching teams for a while. So we know what time, like if I'm not reaching the girls, if I'm not reaching the girls on a particular day, Maz will take over or Kay will take over. And again, we're always on the same page. One thing that we've always talked about as coaches is whether if we don't agree on a certain philosophy or whatever, when we're in front of those girls, we are one. All three of us are together. Now, once the girls leave and the parents are away, we can scream and yell at each other. But again, bottom line is we're adults. Let's talk. Let's get this worked out, and let's make it better for the girls.
Coach, you got me definitely excited for the season too. I'm excited to see you guys get on that field and see what you guys have to offer. Why don't you shout out your first game and shout out and call out the Western Reserve community to get out there and support you for the first game of the season?
All right. Well, I have our schedule right here. So this year, Mr. Mikovich put together our schedule, and we open up with our rival Jackson Milton. We opened up on Monday, March 28th. We are at Jackson Milton, and we are at home. Again, to the community of Berlin Center Western Reserve, please come out and see these girls. I know these girls have been working really, really hard since February. We're going to try to do one of our things is we're going to do team bonding. We want to get in the community and work with the younger girls and do some things within the community so the community can see our girls and be excited like we are for the team.
Coach, we are so excited. Less than a week away until softball starts. You guys open up against Jackson Milton. That's always a good one. We wish you the best of luck in that game and the whole season. We can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Guys, thank you very, very much. I just want to, I want to give one more shout out. I know she's going to be mad at me, but I got to give a shout out to my wife because, again, I don't have any children. None of my coaches have any children in the program. So, my wife allows me to go there on an every night basis. And
we're hearing you
thank
again.
you, guys.
That was Coach Michael Cook, the head coach of the Western Reserve Blue Devil softball team, joining us live on Running Point. First of many guests that we have on today, Ty. It's a loaded show. We'll be talking to Michael DeBar, the head coach of Salem Baseball, at 12:30. We have Daryl Kurtz, the head coach of Columbiana Softball, at 1 o'clock. We're also going to feature pre-recorded interviews with Spencer Bendel of Edison Softball and Tom Otto of Struthers Baseball. So got a lot on deck for you today on Running Point.
Yeah, and I mean, just a comment on Coach Cook. I mean, yeah, you might not have any kids of your own, but he probably has well over 10 on that Western Reserve community. You got about what's on that roster and much further, because you are impacting those girls' lives in more ways than one. Sounds like he's doing a great job over there with that Western Reserve community, really wanting to get in the community involved. And we know that's the best part of sports, and that's when we really see those powerhouses, when the community and the program come together as one.
I like that he took the time to shout out his wife, and because we had a couple of basketball coaches on, and we asked them to talk about the sacrifices, not that they make time wise, but the sacrifices honestly their families make for them to coach. I mean, this is a full-time job for however many months of the year that your season is. For basketball, it's the longest. Softball, it's still 3 or 4 months out of the year where it's going to the school every day, breaking down film, making practice plans, making game plans, going to games, etc., etc., etc. And it's a full-time gig, and your family kind of gives up a lot of time with you. And a lot of these coaches' families are very graciously supportive of them, and they don't have to be. There's nothing forcing a wife to say, "I'm okay with you being gone for 9 hours a day, 7 days, 6 days out of the week." Not there's nothing that says you have to be okay with that, but a lot of these coaches' wives they've kind of signed up for the life, and or husbands, because we know there are some great female leaders out there. So I don't want to shortchange the husbands to do the same thing for the female coaches. Either way, the families give up a lot. That's the whole point, and we like to shine light on that as well.
Yeah, families sacrifice a lot, or they just become integrated as a whole. If you're the Shields family. And then
you know what? Let's just all do it.
Let's just all get in the program. We'll just live at West Branch, and that'll take care of itself.
We'll have one person be the principal.
I love it. I love that the Shields have just integrated themselves into West Branch too. That's a great coaching family, and still one of those great stories that if there's a round table. Oh wait, we might have a round table to have for. That might be an idea for a round table discussion with the DeShields family.
I think we almost had that anyway.
Yeah, I think we kind of previewed that.
We kind of had it.
We kind of had it, but
we had them all in the same room at one time. I remember that. I don't know if it was for Penny's coach's corner or if it was for Walt's, but I know that Walt came into the room, and then Drew came into the room, and they were all kind of talking to each other at the same time.
There's a certain lovable guy that works on the YSN crew that I think is doing something around prime time, around round table discussions, and
that
might be an idea for.
I think he did some games for Boardman.
I think that might be an idea. Let's get those the Shields family on a round table discussion.
I'll throw that up the flagpole and see if that idea is good enough for his prestigious show.
I think, especially right after a successful basketball season, that'll be great.
I don't know if we're gonna be selling
apple dumplings.
Anthony, I'm sure, this is far enough in advance that we can take requests, and if we find an apple dumpling place that'll give us apple dumplings.
No, I want you to make them, Anthony. I want you slaving over the.
If you want me to make apple dumplings, they're not gonna be good. I mean, can you imagine Anthony trying to reach over the stove and.
Oh man!
Fire in the kitchen. Grease fire.
It's just whole apples with raw dough wrapped on them, and that's
never mind the curtains. Put me out.
But no, that was a great interview with Coach Cook, and we did have Coach Ellie on the other side too. So we have both the Jacksonville and the Western Reserve side of that match.
It's always a fun softball game, and it will be this year. I think they're pretty evenly matched. And
yeah, there you go.
What's this one?
It's just doubling up, Ant.
Oh,
he dropped the double.
That's pretty much all that song is.
You looked it up. You tried learning the words. It was just
it's like 2 sentences long. It's called The Witch Doctor, and it's like 2 sentences, and then ooh ee ooh ah ah ting tang, walla walla bing bang. I don't know. It's a phenomenon.
I think you and your buddy over there, Anthony, must have some history with this or something.
No, I have no idea. That's like the most random thing ever. The only reason I know the song exists is because it was on it's on one of the movies I watched so much as a child, and I'm trying to think of what movie it was. Homeward Bound. It's on Homeward Bound. Disney movie about the dogs coming back home, getting lost in the forest. Dogs and cat. But yeah, it's in that movie, so that's why I know it. But it's so random. It's so random.
That's a random one. I remember it from Family Guy more than anything.
Family Guy. I don't remember that episode.
Yeah, I remember Quagmire saying that before. So that's where I remember it. But now that you mention Homeward Bound, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. But I think I do recall.
Because now it's all flooding into my mind, and that's just how my mind works. The family is driving. They think they're going to get their pets back. They're driving to the pound, and they're singing that song in like kind of celebration. And then obviously they get to the pound. The dogs have already escaped from there, so they have to go back home. But oh, what a great ending to that movie! Ooh, chills. Okay, back to Running Point.
Chills.
Just literal kills. Yeah, great interview with Michael Cook, and it's going to be a great softball matchup between Jackson Milton and Western Reserve on Monday and Tuesday, though. The home and home series. That's what's one of the great things about this softball baseball series too. You get kind of back-to-back games against each other.
Yeah, different ballparks. I mean, I love that.
In basketball, you play someone, then you'd have to wait a couple months to see him again.
Yeah.
But in softball, you lose to somebody, you're mad about it. Guess what? You get to go the next day and play them in the other ballpark and say, okay, you beat us yesterday, try to beat us today. Nothing's changing. There's no different game plan. We're not adding any players to the roster.
I still call we need to have like a 3 to 5 game series for state championship. I still think that would be cool. I mean, if you don't want to do 5, I get 5 might be a little much, but if you could do 3, like a 3-game series would be really cool for just the state championship. Oh, that's the B movie all day. Shark Tales was terrible. I do not want to talk about Will Smith fish.
Will Smith.
Like, what are we talking about?
Shark Tale. Is it the one with Angelina Jolie in it too?
Yeah, that movie was terrible. The B movie.
You know what it was? It was a Finding Nemo knockoff.
Yeah, and
DreamWorks saw Disney make a movie about a fish and said, "Ooh, fishes are in now. Let's get
hot take. I don't really even like the B movie that much, but I like the B movie a lot better.
The B movie. Oh my god! Like, just think about it, because in the B movie, like half of it is a court drama. Every kid loves the court drama, right? I mean, come on. It's classic children's entertainment.
Yeah.
And then like the bee is attracted to the female human.
But the female,
and if you really think about it, you're going
mutually attracted to.
Yeah, you go, what the heck is going on here? There was something wrong with the people that made that movie.
That's why I'm like, I wasn't even a huge fan of that movie, but it was definitely better than Shark Tales. That's 100%. But I'll tell you,
we are so far in a tangent. We have Michael DeBar at 12:30.
That's the guy.
That's like 7 minutes away, so we only have to get through about 7 minutes of our minds going off on tangents, and then we get back on track.
But now Michael DeBar and with Salem, I mean, looking at this upcoming season, this is going to be really interesting to see how Salem's going to bounce back. You lose a little bit in the pitching staff, a little bit of senior out, but I mean, this is historically a great baseball program, and they get great players that come through this program, and I expect the Quakers to be right back in the competitions through districts and possibly and potentially even further than that too. I mean, this is the same team that took down the undefeated Canfield. So there you go. Getting lectured. Hey, last hot take.
Last hot take. Okay.
That's what it is. Just throwing hot takes.
What's this one say?
Madagascar Ice Age Ant. That's a better one. That I'm talking about. That's
Ice Age all day. Is like I never really liked Madagascar. Ice Age.
You didn't like Madagascar.
Ice Age is so much better. The sloth makes that movie.
You mean the little one with the acorn?
Yeah,
that doesn't talk. And it's
that's the squirrel.
The squirrel's
he's pretty funny too, but the sloth Sloth is comedic genius for that movie.
I don't know. I might have to go Madagascar on that one.
When he takes the rhino's pine cones. Ooh, look, a pine cone. Carl, he ruined our salad. You know what made that movie though? The funniest part of that movie is the dodo scene. When the one falls off the
melons,
the one falls off the cliff, and they go, well, there goes our last female.
The last melon.
The last melon.
Oh my goodness! And you see, that's why we get off on tangents. It's our comments.
These comments are killing us. And
it's Burner.
Our little squirrel brains with little and no attention to details can't handle comments like this.
Trying to get back on the Michael DeBar talk and just talking.
You know what? Let's just take a break, and when we get back, we'll have Michael DeBar of Salem Baseball, and he'll get us squarely back on track on Running Point. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Never too soon for a Myers Family Insurance commercial. I think I accidentally.
What was that?
I think I clicked it when I went to come back to Running Point. I just clicked it coming over.
He goes, welcome.
Welcome.
Myers Family Insurance. All right. That works.
It's giving them a perfect segue.
Well, perfect segue for Michael DeBar over at Salem Baseball. And I got to talk to him about the Quakers this upcoming season because they're sure to be fun. Coach, how we doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem, Coach. I mean, you got to be feeling good. Weather's going up and down, but season's coming right around the corner. What we like to do with all our area coaches, we like to just start off with a sort of meet the team segment and highlight what you're returning this year and some of the new faces you're excited to bring to Salem Baseball.
Yeah, well, we're returning a lot from last year's team. We did lose 3 seniors. as part of that great team that we had last year. But we're returning Gavin Wilms, and Carson Rhodes, who will be our league pitchers this year. We're returning senior Darius Beck, catcher for us, leader for us, senior Brock Young, junior Jackson Johnson. Those two were, or Jackson Johnson was all-league player last year. We are returning Hunter Carlisle, senior, Corey Risen, senior, Caden Burt, who's going to be big for us this year, senior. So I think we have 8 seniors returning, and then a couple underclassmen that were pieces to that puzzle last year. And then we got some new faces stepping up this year. Lance Bailey, sophomore, who's going to try and step in and fill Nick Coletta's shoes at second base. And Donnie Ash, he played the field for us last year, and his role is going to be expanded this year as a junior outfielder. And Kyle Burt, Caden Burt's younger brother, we're excited about him as a sophomore. So we have some young talent that is going to need to gain some experience, but we return a whole lot of experience too.
Coach, I know with all the talent that you guys have, you got to put together a really good schedule to get you guys ready for the tournament time. Talk about some of the teams that pop up. Obviously, the EBC is going to be strong. Talk about that conference as well, but also some teams out of conference that pop up on your schedule that you think will really prepare you for postseason.
Yeah, like you said, the EBC is tough. It's a grind getting through the EBC, but we started off. I don't know if we can start it off much more difficult than this Saturday at home against Canfield. There's not much to say about that. Our guys are looking forward to that. I'm sure their guys are too. I don't know how many times you can start the season off with a rematch of a regional semifinal game where both teams return so much. So that's a big one. South Range is always always good competition for us. We got Howland, but that EBC schedule is a grind for sure. So we're looking forward to the out of conference games. We're looking forward to starting off with a huge challenge for us, but the EBC is where our focus is. Speaking of schedules, I saw Coach Niddle on here a couple weeks ago. That might be the dumbest schedule I've ever seen. They have I would love to have that schedule, man. They play everybody that is any good in the area. So I'm looking forward to seeing them go through that schedule. But ours is certainly a challenge for us as well.
Coach, to kind of gauge where the expectation level is of this team and what you have, what are some goals that you have for this team? Obviously, you guys went far, and I got to figure expectation should be around that point again. So where do you fit the expectations and goals of this season at?
Yeah, it's a big thing for us. We have to manage expectations for sure. It's a totally different feeling this year, going in with the expectations that other people have for us, that we have for ourselves, that maybe we didn't, or maybe they didn't last year. So we have to manage the expectations. My goal is very simple, as it was last year, is to get us to play the absolute best baseball that we can play somehow. We have a long way to go. I will tell you that. We had a scrimmage yesterday against Columbiana, and we did some good things, but it was the first time really that this team has been together on a baseball field playing a baseball game. We've been practicing, obviously, but we got a long way to go. So expectations, I'm sure other people have high expectations as far as what we're going to do record-wise or the league, but my expectation is somehow get these 13 to 15 guys to play the best that they can, because if we do that, we're very talented. All these other goals that other people might have for us, or that maybe our guys have for ourselves as far as league titles and district titles and all that kind of thing, that'll take care of itself. But we got to play the best baseball that we can, and we sure have a long way to go to get there.
Coach, kind of a follow-up to that, because now you're kind of not the team that's going to sneak up on anybody anymore. I mean, the first game of the year, you're playing the team that you kind of ended their season. You're going to have the target on your back all year because of the success you had last year. How do you think the team's going to respond to kind of being the favorite every time they walk on the floor, on the field, and every time they kind of do, the other team's going to be saying that's the Salem team that we really want to beat?
Yeah, we got to figure that out. We have to figure it out, because you're absolutely right. We're not sneaking up on anybody. Some people have us circled on their schedule. I'm sure Canfield does. Listen, we got Canfield Circle on our schedule as well. That's a big game for us to see where we're at. But you're right. We have a target on our back, and we have to figure it out. And it's going to take some time. I told these guys yesterday, like, a lot of these guys that we return, we played last year and did some good things, but this is a brand new team. It's a brand new year. You have to figure out how to play together. We lost some pieces that helped us play together last year. So we got to figure it out. And, I have no doubt that we will with our kids. I love our kids. I love their mentality. I love their attitudes. We'll figure it out, but there will be some rough spots for sure. No doubt.
Talking about this team culture-wise, Coach, and the culture that you've implemented here at Salem, what would you say, or what would you hope that the boys that go through your program would say about what it means to be a Quaker?
Well, it's definitely changed over the years for sure. When I took over, very young, very inexperienced as a head coach, obviously, and we kind of had to figure it out on the fly. But I think what these guys and the guys that came before them have helped to establish is a team that works really hard, cares about each other, plays for each other, and enjoys the process. Right? We talked about that the other day as well. Like, you got to enjoy the process. Some of our guys want to start out, in the district title game right now. But you got to enjoy the process. And I enjoy being around our guys all the time. So I would say that it's hard work, doing the right things, but also enjoying each other, enjoying the process, enjoying playing with each other and for each other. It's been a long road to get to where it's at, and we have got there in large part to the people who came before, especially last year. Those seniors were a big reason why we turned this program around and are looking to keep it heading in the right direction.
And you keep coming back to coaching baseball. What is it about this sport? Talk about your baseball journey and what makes you kind of love it so much that you keep coming back to it.
Yeah, baseball it's been a huge part of my life. I don't think I'd be the same person I am today without baseball. And I know I'm going to get some eyes rolling from a couple people here when I bring up that 1999 team, because they're sick of hearing me talk about it. But that really changed my life, being a part of the 1999 Salem Quakers. The first district title here in school history, set the record for most wins, which both of those records were beaten last year by that team. But being part of that group changed my life. And, just like I said, I hope that the program is about being there for each other and enjoying the process. I think about that team often because of what we accomplished and how we accomplished it together. And I talk to 80-90% of that team on a routine basis. So the relationships that you build in the game is huge, and things that could last for a whole lifetime. And I hope our guys know that, and we try and cultivate that here in Salem. We try and allow them time to maybe it's just not about baseball, but maybe it's about the experiences and the relationships between the guys. And the locker room is a big part of that. We love being in our locker room because some good things happen in there. And we're taking a trip to Myrtle Beach, as some of the other programs in the area are doing this year, to try and cultivate those relationships and hopefully build lifelong relationships. So yeah, so I played at Salem, did not pursue baseball in college. I'm not sure that I was good enough to play in college, but it has been a huge part of my life for sure.
Coach, I mean, you've been through the grind as both a player and a coach. You tasted success as both a player and a coach. So take a step back for a second and go back and coach yourself. What would Coach DeBar tell player Michael DeBar then? Your chance.
Oh my gosh, he'd probably say, don't worry about talking to the other team as much, because that. And I think some of these guys I see myself in on our team. It's hard to, this is a fine line that our guys walk, that we walk here, is we have confidence. Our guys have a lot of confidence. They do not lack confidence, but you got to be respectful of the other guys as well. So we like to chirp in the dugout, and I don't want to take that away from our guys at all, because I think it's who we are, but we also, want to respect the game of baseball. So I think Coach Mike DeBar would tell player Mike DeBar, focus on the game a little bit, and respect the other team. And that's a tough thing for our guys sometimes. But you know, I don't think that's a bad thing. I have no problem talking about our guys talking. As long as it's in good nature, you know what I mean? College baseball, I love watching college baseball because so much of it is the passion that those guys have, and sometimes it spills over from dugout talk. But you know, that's passionate. You're being passionate about the sport. You want to win, but you know, I never want our guys to you know, talk bad about the other team, but just be confident about ourselves, if that makes any sense.
Heckling part of the sport, Coach. And I think we both get that too. As long as you stay within, like you said, there's parameters to stay within, when you're heckling. But I think it's within the lines of the sport. I think it's a huge part of it as well.
I think coaches can skirt around that sometimes, and they don't want to talk about that. But like you said, it's part of the game. It's part of the culture of this game.
Pretend like we're not dealing with 15 to 18-year-old kids, you know, like.
Right.
Coach, we want to give you the chance to highlight your coaching staff as well. We know you have a great assistants, and we want to give them highlights. We want to let them know that they matter. So shout out your assistants and what they mean to the program.
Yeah. So Coach Jake Carner is our junior varsity head coach. He's been with us. This is his 4th year, going into his 4th year now. He's so great for the developmental side of our program. He's a catcher. He's a former catcher, which is huge to have those guys on your staff. And he's great for our young guys developing. And Coach Ryan Powell, both of these guys, Carner and Powell, coach football as well. He's the assistant JV coach. And I couldn't ask for 2 better guys for the JV level. The JV guys know, listen, it's about playing baseball at the junior varsity level. I know a lot of times we get wrapped up in wins and losses, but it's about getting better at baseball. And Coach Carner and Coach Powell do a great job with those guys there. And then Coach Ricky Enlow is an assistant varsity coach for us. He's a recent graduate, real recent. He was one of those seniors that lost his senior year to COVID. And he was back with us last year coaching, and he's been great with the guys. And then Coach Clutter, I mean, I don't know what to say about Coach Clutter, assistant varsity coach. He runs our social media. I don't know if you guys have checked that out, but our social media game is unlike any other with some of the things that he does for that. And fundraisers, he's huge at organizing and running fundraisers, which is a big part of high school baseball. Unfortunately, you know, we don't want to spend time on that, but you have to do it. And he does a great job with that. And then obviously with managing the game, he's great. In-game management, Coach Clutter is great, and he works with our infielders. He's great. So I couldn't ask for a better staff. I love our staff. I love what we're doing. Like I said, we got a lot of work to do, and I have no doubt that these guys are going to help get it done.
Coach, I just want to give you the chance to call out the Salem community for game number 1. Shout out your opening day and what time it is and where to be for the Quakers.
Listen, it's going to be cold Saturday. What'd you say that again?
I said I think it's a pretty big one.
It's a big one for sure, and I know DJ wanted me to turn it into a night game, and that would be a cold one there at Ray Riesbeck Field. But we're at 1:00 Saturday at Ray Riesbeck Field at the Salem High School. It's going to be about 42 degrees, but that's spring baseball in Ohio. So I would urge, if you want to see good baseball, even if you're not Salem or a Canfield guy, come to Ray Riesbeck Field Saturday. You're going to see some of the best baseball players in the area on one field. It's going to have an all-star game look from the talent that's on that field. I mean, Canfield is absolutely loaded, and we think we have some pretty good baseball players ourselves, and I can't wait to see Coach Niddle and the guys come to the Ray and, get this thing started here in 2022.
Great word usage, because you can go from that game to YSN's All-Star game at South Range that very evening. So
There you go.
So I mean, make a beeline right from Salem to South Range, because I mean, you're gonna get an all-star field for baseball, and then you get the basketball side of things. It's a great.
I think DJ is pretty happy now that game's a day game.
Okay, we'll keep it a day game then.
We look forward to that one for sure, Coach. We're going to wish you the best of luck in that one. I'm sure all of our eyes will be glued to that one if we can't make it in attendance. And good luck on the season. And I know we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys having me. Go Quakes.
Appreciate you too, Coach.
Ooh, that was one of the check marks we had to do as soon as we started baseball previews.
Needed to have Salem on there, and needed to have Coach DeBar, preferably before the season, since we already had Coach Niddle on that side of that matchup, and that's going to be a great opening day matchup for baseball as well. I mean, regional semi, right? Regional semi matchup.
Yeah, it was regional semis, and it was just a wild baseball game. A lot of calls that went, kind of wild ways. There was I believe it was a tag up play. It was so like you've never seen it before, you never see it, that in the studio the next day, we were all arguing, forget about what the call was. We didn't even know what they called first. And then after we kind of decided that we thought what they called, we were arguing about whether or not that was the right call. It was bonkers. It was like a tag up play, I think. Something about is a tag out when you're trying to get back to the base a force out, in the sense that does it have all the same rules as a force out when you're when you have to go to the base? I forget exactly what the play was. I know it was wild, and I know we had a very lengthy discussion about it the next day. And it was, I believe, 2-1, maybe 2-1 game.
3-1, I think.
3-1. It was
3-1. Yeah.
I mean, it was Ryan Petro versus Lane Rhodes.
Yep. I know for a fact it was Lane Rhodes on the same.
That's a nasty pitching duel.
And it's going to be nasty on opening day, too. It's
probably going to see Carson Rhodes against one of the. I mean, Canfield can pick any of those four.
Probably,
I would say Vital Keys, but you never know.
Do you throw a lefty? I mean, I don't know. It depends on how many lefties and righties are in Salem's lineup if you want to throw Landon on
Gary Niddle's blessed with enough that he can say, hey, you're starting today. And
yeah, it doesn't
feel like an opening day ace. It doesn't matter.
He's like 4 aces on his squad. He's just like, we'll use you.
Really does. He's got a deck full of aces, and most teams have one if they're lucky. They would love to have two.
He's got a broken deck.
4.
He's just got a broken deck. That's all. His deck was like malfunctioned from the store, and it just came with only aces in it. And he's just pulling ace after ace after ace.
I think DJ shuffled his deck.
Imagine playing ace high war with this guy.
Oh,
he's just like, it's an ace. I'll win this round too.
He goes, go finish. He goes, do you have any aces? I know you don't, because I got them all.
Playing war. How do you have 12 aces?
Because I'm Gary freaking Niddle. Boom, ace.
Man. That's going to be a great matchup, and it might be one we see down the road too.
He'd also be that guy if you're playing Uno. He's got all the draw 4s in his hand. And he's like, boom, draw 4, boom, draw 4, boom, draw 4.
They're just all wide cards.
You think so? Boom, draw 4, I win.
Oh, man. Fun times, and that's going to be a fun game. And like we said, what a day you could plan yourself for sports. I mean, go from that game at 1 o'clock right over to South Range at 5.
Yeah, so comments section, I want to kind of bring this up. We're cool with you kind of trolling us and making fake accounts for me and Ty and DJ and whatever. Let's stay away from making fake accounts from players that represent these schools. It could be Lane Rhodes. I don't know.
It could be, but
that's why I'm not even going to post it. Like, I'm not going to put it up. There's a comment on our YouTube from Lane Rhodes. Don't know. But like, let's just keep it. If you're gonna be one of those people that make these kind of burner accounts, which is cool, it's fun. We have fun with it. Stay away from players in high school and players that have graduated, of course, but that still represent the school. So let's on a serious note, while we love to have fun, let's keep it out of that realm, because I'm not gonna put it up.
Anthony's
bar. I have the power. You don't. I mean, not you, but you, as in the comments.
I was gonna say.
So you can do it, but I'm not gonna put it up, so no one's gonna see it unless they're scrolling through the YouTube comments. Sorry.
Anthony's putting his foot down.
Especially if it's a comment that I'm like, nah, I don't think he would say that.
Well, that's why I said you got we trust Facebook. I don't know if you can really fake that many Facebook accounts.
Right. It's a lot harder because you have to have double verification and yada yada. All you have to do to make a YouTube account is have a Gmail account.
Have many Gmail accounts.
So that's kind of my
if
my
this is all
serious dad spanking of the day for the people in the comment section.
This is all one person's work. The amount of Gmail accounts that you had to go through. Well, I guess you could just change names though too on YouTube and profile pictures.
Can you imagine doing that through the show though? Like how long? Oh, I'm going to change my name real quick. Make this comment. Then I'm going to go back, change my name. Make this
preempted. And they got like 10 emails on deck, 10 emails and 10 YouTube links on deck. That's it. That'd be legendary. You're just preemptively making 50
honestly
accounts a day. You're just like top of the morning. Got to make about 15 to 20 Gmail accounts.
I wish I had that kind of time.
Yeah, then name them 20 different names so I can have conversations with myself in the comment section.
Some kind of weird people out there, but who knows?
I love it. I did that. They bring up interesting topics sometimes.
Like, it's all fun. I just say, like I said, stay away from. You can make fake DJ accounts, fake Anthony accounts, Ty, Quinn, whatever. Stay away from players and coaches that represent these schools.
It wasn't a fake Quinn account. That was Quinn just yelling.
I know it was Quinn.
Yes.
I was just pulling out Ysn personalities.
Quinn was definitely on yelling at me in the comments.
Yeah, he was yelling at you. Answer my text.
While I'm on the show.
Did you ever get back to him, or is he going to comment again today?
I texted him, I think, on the show, or after the show, I should say. He texted me during. And then was mad that I didn't text back during. Mason Ramos. You're getting support from other accounts, Ant. They're taking a stand with you.
I like that you used the word "take a stand." Very on point.
Fake accounts / bots.
Oh my
Because
gosh,
we all assume Mason Ramos, the bald cap helmet with the bull
this
haircut.
is fun. He's not. Yeah, he's a fake account, but he's not pretending to be a player or anything like that.
No, he's real though. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's totally.
He
real.
He doesn't like fake accounts and bots.
Yeah, I think he's real. He definitely decided to make that his profile picture out of his own accord.
He just has a bull haircut, and someone got him a bald cap helmet that he likes to wear pretty frequently. And I guess he goes to church a lot too. I mean, according to his profile picture, or maybe he's in like kung fu or something like that.
He's a ninja. Secretly,
the hair just pulls down into a mask.
You know what's crazy though, Ty? And I just realized this. Let me full screen it so I can confirm. Yeah, there are 2 lane roads in the comments, but they have different profile pictures. Did you notice that? Like, I'm not a complaining, but they have different profile pictures too. Like 2 different lane roads. See, this is what we're talking about. We're not putting you up because of that.
How do we know which one's the actual?
If either one of them are the actual. People have ruined it for other people. That's if you're trying to have fun and you want to have, some people have ruined
it. Go on Facebook.
Go on Facebook, man.
Go on Facebook. Go on Twitter.
Or make a burner YouTube account that's not a player or coach.
Just do that. Why have we become a burner account hotbed?
I don't know.
It's literally just it worked out. Burner account hotbed. That's just that. I didn't even mean for that to line up like that, but it lined up.
Burner account hotbed.
That's
Zing.
all we are. Running point. Burner account hotbed. We love it. we also love the fact that we're going to have 3 more coaches featured on today's show.
Yes, coming up very soon, 1 o'clock, we have Daryl Kurtz, the head coach of the Columbiana softball team, coming on live at 1, and then we have featured interviews that are pre-recorded and on ysnlive.com as well with Spencer Bendel, the head softball coach of Edison, and Tom Otto, the head baseball coach over at Struthers, moving from Liberty last year to now he's at Struthers. So those are 2 great interviews you're going to be able to hear in the second hour of the show after Daryl Kurtz comes on live at 1 o'clock.
Yep. I mean, it'll be fun to talk to all of them too. I mean, Daryl Kurtz, I mean, it was fun to talk to 2 of them. Fun to talk to coming up.
I'm going to make this joke when he's on. Daryl Kurtz and his wife, Maddie Kurtz, who was the coach last year, are kind of like the Karen and Ralph Weekly of high school softball, where they're like a husband and wife kind of coaching tandem, and now she's the assistant, he's the head coach. And for people that aren't softball fans, Karen and Ralph Weekly were the co-head coaches at Tennessee, and I think Tennessee has a law that says you can't work under your spouse, so they couldn't be a head coach and assistant coach. They had to both be co-head coaches. So they're kind of like the husband-wife duo of high school softball. So they are now forever in my mind, the Ralph and Karen Weekly of high school softball.
And that's what Anthony's gonna.
That's what I'm gonna call them. Yep, that's it. That's their new mantra. And this year it'll be Daryl Kurtz handling the responsibilities of being the head coach, and I believe Maddie Kurtz will still be on his staff helping out with that team. So they do a great job. Troy Long is a great player on that team, but they also had a freshman pitcher that kind of lit the world on fire last year. Has great velocity. And she'll be coming back for her sophomore season. So a lot of things to be, very excited about in Columbiana. That EOAC wide open, but they've been kind of running that show. Lisbon and Columbiana, they took each other to town last year. I mean, Justice Frable for Lisbon versus Columbiana. I think they split. Yeah, they split. I think Lisbon won in Lisbon, Columbiana won in Columbiana. So it's going to be round 2. Justice is coming back for her senior year. That lineup in Lisbon is going to be just as potent. Columbiana's pitching is going to be a little bit more experienced. We're gonna see who kind of comes out on top. It's going to be a fun EOAC.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk to him about that too, because it seems like it's a good conference on both sides every single year, and it's usually pretty competitive, and there's usually good baseball and softball players that come out of it. So I'm excited to talk with Coach Kurtz.
And when you're talking about EOAC softball, people do not forget about United. They're always dangerous. They're always competitive. We're going to be talking to their new head coach, Matt Zines, on Thursday. Look forward to that. But it's something that we have to bring up when talking about EOAC softball, because United cannot be overlooked.
No doubt. And I mean, that's the thing with the softball. I mean, anyone can step up too, and we might see a pitcher that all of a sudden, I mean, lights the world on fire, like we said too. And I mean, what we see gaps from year to year in talent wise, and just developmental gaps from year to year, and what these players are able to accomplish and fill in, it's impressive too. So some of the pitching we seen last year might improve 10 times going into this year, and you might see a pitcher come out of the nowhere for a team in the EOAC this year and carry things from the circle forward. So that's the exciting thing about softball season, especially the beginning. You don't know who's stepping up.
All right, let's take another break, and then on the other end, we will be getting ready for Daryl Kurtz, the head coach of Columbiana softball. This is Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig, alongside Ty Bartell, and we are going to be joined next live on the show by head coach of the Columbiana softball team, Daryl Kurtz. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I think he's muted.
Hold on, Coach. You might be muted here. Let's see.
Oh, sorry.
No, we're good there. Okay. Thought glitch gremlins were attacking us again, but
a little technical difficulty. Before we started, I just wanted to say we really appreciate what you guys are doing for like the local teams, bringing them exposure to the girls, and we really appreciate all you guys do coming out and calling games. It's really cool. I think it's unique to our area, and as a coach, we appreciate it.
Coach, we love supporting you guys and definitely covering you in the softball team. And before you came on, I kind of made the quip that you and Maddie are kind of like the Karen and Ralph Weekleys of high school softball, flipping roles and still helping out with this team. Talk about what it's like kind of going from assistant last year to now, obviously, having a new baby and you having to take over kind of the head coaching role this year, but still having Maddie around, still having her as an assistant, and what that dynamic has been like working with her with the softball program.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dream, when we first started out in the western part of the state in Tiffin. As she finished up, it kind of the softball job was open out there, and they're like, "Well, your girlfriend, she plays college softball, right?" So that kind of makes you able to coach, qualified to coach. So for 2 years, she was my assistant. We moved back here, and we kind of swapped roles, and I was the assistant to her, being the head coach. And now with the baby, it just it just made sense for her to kind of take a step back. And me to take a step forward and take over that role, but she's still really involved and she does a lot for our program. And I know the girls really appreciate her being around still. And, we just bring the baby to practice sometimes.
Which I'm sure with high school girls, that's always a hit.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It kind of gets them off track a little bit. I get them back focused on what we're trying to get accomplished for the day. But no, it's been great.
Speaking of those girls too, Coach, what we always like to do, we start off a lot of our area coaches with meeting the team segments. So I want you to shout out some of the returners you got for this season's team and some of the new faces for the Columbiana softball team that we'll be seeing this year.
Yeah, so we have 3 returning seniors this year that are starters and going to get a ton of playing time. We returned Tori Long. Obviously, she's our ace pitcher in the circle. When she's not pitching, she's going to play shortstop for us. She had an excellent season last year. She was all conference, second team all region. So obviously we're super excited to have her back. She committed to IUP during the off season. So she's going to continue her softball career after the season. I know she's excited about that. We also returned Julia Rapp. She plays center field for us. She hits at the top of our order. She's a dual athlete. She's kind of a track star in Columbiana, and we're happy to have her on our softball team as well. As I said, she's a speedster. She really gets our lineup going at the top. Plays an excellent center field. Our third senior is Audrey Smith. She's our catcher. She's been our catcher for the last 3 years, so she has a lot of innings under her belt and a lot of experience, and she does a great job handling our staff. And we're super excited for what she can contribute during her senior year as well. We have one junior, Maddie Hitchcock. She's a returner. She got some at bats for us last year. Plays the corner infield positions, maybe some outfield. So we're excited to have her back as well. We had quite a few sophomores that contributed last year. Ava Devanzo, she played all over the place. She played some right field. She played third. She played second. She played first. We're excited to kind of lock her into the first base position and just let her kind of take a breath and just focus on that. And she hit over 500 for us last year and had a ton of doubles. So she has a pretty big stick, and she can swing it well. Elena Johnson kind of plays all over the place for us. She's a returning sophomore. She'll play second base. She'll play right field. She might even get some innings behind the plate this year to kind of ease the burden on Audrey Smith. Then we have a huge freshman class. 9 freshmen are joining us. So we're super excited about some of those girls. Kaitlyn Pleska is going to be in the circle for us. She's gonna get quite a few innings. When Tori Long's pitches, she's probably going to be our shortstop. But we can move her around to third base. She can play first base. Cameron Perkins is another freshman that we're super excited about. She's sliding into that third base spot. She also catches. This is the first year she's played third base, but just watching her, it looks natural. So I think she's going to continue to grow and get even better as the season progresses in that spot. Marin Hepler is another one, middle infielder. Yeah, she'll probably pitch a little JV for us this year, play some second base and some shortstop. We might even see her at third base at times. So we're excited to have her. Olivia Bell's another one. She probably gets some at bats for us. She's another corner infielder, first and third. Haley Smith might get some opportunities to run bases for us. She's another track girl, a speedster freshman. We're excited about just to continue her knowledge of the game is going to be big for her as she grows. Lillian Hoshar. I mean, we got tons of freshmen that Nora Eineman. I have a cheat sheet in front of me. Ella Doda is probably going to play some left field for us to start the season. She's another speedster that can get on base and run, and we're excited about her fielding. Man, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. but yeah, we're super excited about this team. I know we have high expectations internally. The girls kind of feel like we got bounced a little early last year, first round of playoffs. We went up against a tough Rootstown team, and so they're kind of chomping at the bit a little bit to get these games going again and see what we have here.
Coach, I'm looking at your schedule, and I think that'll be a big component in how prepared you'll be for the tournament run this year. I mean, you put a lot of really good teams on this slate that are really going to test you guys that go way past the Division IV level. Talk about this schedule, not just the EOAC and the challenges that you'll always face in there, but also the non-conference teams that you've put on that are really going to test this team.
Yeah, absolutely. The EOAC is the first goal. So the first goal is we want to control that conference. Last year we shared the conference championship with Lisbon. We split with them, and we're excited to get right back into it. We want to outright win the EOC this year. So that's goal number one. And then when I sat down with our AD and our coaching staff, we really wanted to challenge the girls. We wanted to pick up some teams. We have a doubleheader against Girard, a solid softball team, a little bit bigger than us. We're excited about that. 2 games with them. We picked up Fitch. Obviously, that's a big-time program. And, I've heard some things about the pitching staff that they have. I know they just had a girl that went to Penn State, but they have a freshman that I know is bringing it. We're excited for that challenge. Friday we scrimmaged South Range. I look at South Range as one of the class teams in the area. Have that softball prestige, and we're excited to after them and see how we stack up against some of these bigger teams in our area. We picked up Hubbard, Howland. I mean, we're trying to challenge the girls. We want to, when we get to that playoff run, we want to be battle tested. And going into this, I think we have one open slot. So we get into playoffs. We always have an opportunity to add a game. Before one of these playoff games and give us an opportunity to keep the girls sharp. This year, for the first time, we're taking our team down to Pigeon Forge, and over Easter break, we're going to go down there we leave on a Thursday. We'll be down there. We're going to play 2 games on Friday, play a game on Saturday, probably play a game Sunday morning before we head back. And that's always a challenge because you never really know what you're going to get into down there. There's teams all over the place down there. Competition is always really high. So we wanted to challenge our girls and give them opportunities to shine against good competition.
Coach, help me finish this sentence. Columbiana will win the EOAC if?
Pitching. It always comes down to pitching. I like our number 1. I like Tori Long. It's awesome. I would love to get, between 75 and 100 innings out of her this year. That would be the goal. And, that number 2 spot, I'd love for it to be Pleska, Kaitlyn Pleska. I'd like to squeeze 50 innings out of her, 75 innings. Ava Devanzo, we're going to need her to eat some innings for us as well. But really, it comes down to pitching. If you have solid pitching, you're going to be in games. Tori Long's a pitcher that, last year, 55 innings, she had over 100 strikeouts. So, you have a girl that's striking out 2 batters an inning. It really shortens the game. It takes a lot of pressure off your defense. So we know what we're going to get out of Tori. Those other girls, we want to play sound defense behind them, make the routine plays, and then every now and then get one of those exceptional plays, diving catches, the crazy off-balance throws. But that's really important. That's our focus. Our focus is with that 2, 3, 4 starter girls. We want to attack the strike zone and use that solid defense. We feel like we have a really good defense in our infield and a solid outfield defense with girls that can fly, and that's important. And I'm like I said, I'm just super excited to get into real games and see what we got.
Coach, this Columbiana softball program has always had strong community support. They've always been historically very successful as a program. They've been to a state championship game before in their program's history. Talk about kind of the prestige of Columbiana athletics and what it's like to be a part of this community and what makes it so special to coach for the Clippers.
Yeah, I'm super excited. When we had conversations about Madison taking a step back, I kind of was hoping that they would ask me to take a step forward just because I really like what we built here these past 2 years. I know it stunk. We had the COVID year, in there as well, but we were super excited about what we're building. My wife, she does a great job going down and working with the youth programs, 10U, 12U, 14U. She's involved. She's always visible at those games. She does lessons with some of those younger girls, and we're just trying to keep building. As far as the prestige goes, I'm glad you brought up that state championship. I think they were in the final game. Coach Wilkinson, Bonnie Wilkinson, was the head coach of that team. She's part of my staff. She helps out, and she sees everything. She doesn't miss a thing. And she's been super helpful. I mean, her daughter is the athletic director here. Katie Libb is helping us out this year. She's one of our hitting coaches, and she actually has been with us since the beginning. But you know, she was a player on that team. So the mentality is you bring all these people in and have been there, and they have this experience. They can, you know, talk to the girls about that. The expectations are super high, you know, and that's a big part of it. And to continue to, you know, gas down and build and keep going.
Talking about those assistants too, Coach, is there any other big names inside this Columbiana softball program that you'd like to give a highlight to?
Yeah, obviously I'm excited about my 3 seniors. You know, they're all 3-year starters, have a ton of softball underneath their belt. And I'm excited to, you know, to sprinkle these young girls in. You know, we only have 1 junior in our program. That's Maddie Hitchcock. I brought her up earlier. Ton of sophomores, ton of freshmen. And, you know, we're just going to continue to build. Yeah. Yes. My wife's yelling at me. I forgot to mention another big part of our staff is Coach Young. Wyatt Young. This is his first year. He's a Findlay baseball guy. He was a catcher for 4 years in Findlay, so he's been doing a great job with our catchers, and just overall all over the place. He hits balls for us. Obviously, I got the neck brace on, so I can't do any of that stuff. So I really rely on my assistants. You know, Kerrigan Yannick, we keep it in-house here. Madison's sister, she comes. She's thrown BP for us, live pitching. You know, Dee Dee, we haven't got Dee Dee out there, and that's the middle Yannick girl. We haven't got her out yet. I'm working on her.
Come on, Darian.
Yeah, I know. We got to get her out there. And obviously, my father-in-law, Frank Yannick, he's been there and helped. You know, so I'll take all hands on deck. We'll take anybody we can get out here to help, and it really takes a ton. You know, a lot of experiences and a lot of people contributing.
Got to thank Madison for keeping us on track.
Yeah. Yep. Coach, before we let you go, I want to let you give the community kind of a call to action to come out and support you guys this year, and let them know when your first game on the schedule is and where they can find you guys.
Yeah, so our first home game is a week from Thursday. That's our first home game. Our first official game is that Wednesday. We go to Western Reserve. But yeah, absolutely. We've worked a ton down at the field. We have actually tonight after practice, we have an inter squad tonight. We'll be doing our field day with the parents. We have a lot of stuff that we're trying to get accomplished. We want the field to look great. Making this as inviting for people to come down and support us as possible. This year we're doing outfield banners. We've got a lot of local businesses within the community that are supporting us this year, which has really helped subsidize our trip to Pigeon Forge, which is, you know, obviously a big part of the middle part of our season. But yeah, we want everybody to come out. We usually get a good crowd at our games, but let's really try to push the limits. Let's get everybody down there on the fence. And the girls really feed off that energy when everybody's out there watching them.
I have been to many games at Firestone Park, so can't wait to get down there myself. Call a couple games for you guys, and see some of you guys. We look forward to a great season, and we also look forward to talking to you again real soon, Coach. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. And like I said, keep up the great work, guys. This is unique to our area, and it gives a lot of teams that might not get this type of exposure some exposure. It's awesome. Thanks. Really appreciate it, guys.
We love doing it, Coach, and we love talking to coaches like you guys, and we'll be looking forward to highlighting your program again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Daryl Kurtz, the head coach of Columbiana softball, joining us live on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And wow, that team's going to be good. They're going to be young. They might have some little valleys in the season because of their youth, But I'll tell you, even if that happens this year, it'll pay dividends for them in the future of that program. The reps that those freshmen are going to get. I believe he's had 9 freshmen on this team. And some of them are going to be key contributors, including a bunch of returning sophomores. They got that experience last year. But it's all going to start with Tori Long in the circle. I mean, everyone knows it. She's an electric pitcher. There's a lot of lineups in that EOAC that she's going to have to keep in check, especially Lisbon. But I think she's going to have a good year, 100-plus strikeouts, maybe 2 years in a row. And we'll see how Tori Long does and the Clippers do. Can't wait to see them play their first home game once again a week from Thursday. It's at home against Western Reserve, and they'll play at Western Reserve on Wednesday as well, who we had earlier on the show.
And having those seniors and that one junior too, I mean, those are going to be the ones that lay the foundation for these sophomores and freshmen. And when those classes come around to be seniors and juniors, oh boy, it's gonna be good times again for upperclassmen in Columbiana softball. But that's how you go with the program, and I still think they're going to be good. How you perform in these kind of years where you're underclassmen heavy shows a lot about the character too of the team and how these seniors and juniors are going to lead. I just hope a week from next Thursday they just flood it. They have them on the fence, and we're just hearing the whole game. Just that you want to throw off an opposing pitcher,
right?
They're just clipper clapping away the entire time.
You're about to go, and you don't know if they're clapping off beat or if that's just what is going on.
To Pittsburgh in the 2013 wild card game when they were doing Cueto. Does that compare if like the whole time everyone is just
like they're doing it like harmonized too, so they can't get a beat on it. So it's like, and then someone else goes, and then someone else goes.
It just starts dragging out all the other sound. You can't hear anything.
The real funny thing is like Coach Madison Kurtz and her family, they all went to South Range. And back when they played, the big rivalry in softball was Columbiana versus South Range. So now to see them on the other side of that, back when I was in high school, I graduated with Coach Madison Kurtz. So doing the Clipper clap back then would have been like, no, we're not. No. But now here we are, and they're rocking the red, and they're taking that Clipper program hopefully back to where they were. 12. I want to say 12. They went to the state championship game, and were state runners up that year. I want to say 12. I might be wrong. Hopefully, I'm not. I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm not.
Anthony's still waving his little South Range flag.
Yeah,
Coach
gotta give the shout out to where they started, and obviously he gave the shout out to South Range too because they're going to scrimmage them on Friday. So yeah, you got to remember where you came from.
For sure. I mean, we still got 2 more coaches that are going to be featured on today's show that are also up on our website, but we love giving all of our coaches airtime, and you're still going to get 1 softball, 1 baseball, double barrel action, bang, bang before the end of the show.
Let's see, 122 right now. I think we'll go right into our first pre-recorded interview. We'll go to Coach Spencer Bendel, the head coach of the Edison Wildcats softball team. We had a chance to talk to him yesterday. Great conversation. We can't wait for you to hear it. And like you said, it is also on ysnlive.com if you miss any part of it and you want to see it in its entirety. So here is Spencer Bendel, the head coach of the Edison Wildcats softball team. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell, and we are here with another softball preview brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown on Running Point. We are joined by Spencer Bendel, the head coach of Edison softball. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Coach, what we always like to do with all of our area coaches, we always give them the opportunity to shout out and give us a Meet the Team segment here. So I want to give you the opportunity to shout out your returners for this season, as well as some new faces in the Wildcat softball program to be excited about.
Okay, good. We're fortunate enough, we return a lot of ball players. I think we have 11 returning letter winners. So that's good for the season. Hopefully the experience of last year, and everybody coming back. Only lost 3 seniors from last year's team. So hopefully that's going to be a benefit to us this coming season.
Coach, with so many players returning, I imagine the focus this year is to kind of build off last year and continue the steps that you took last year. What kind of things do you want this team to learn from last year's season that they carry into this year's season?
Well, the main thing is we got to finish. I thought we had a very successful year. We played some really quality teams and won a good many of those games and had a strong season overall. It just, our big conference tournament, we got to the OVAC championship there, and it was right in the ball game. We just didn't finish it late in the game in the 6th and 7th innings, and the same thing happened in our district tournament game. We won our sectionals and was playing well in the early parts of the game against Tusky Valley in our district game, and we were 5 outs from winning that ball game, and we just didn't finish, and actually collapsed a little bit in that ball game. So I think the motto or the thought for this year is be consistent, work hard, take every game as an important game, and finish when it comes to the end.
Kind of adding on to that one, Coach, too, and just looking at the squad you mentioned a lot of returning players. What do you see this team's identity kind of being going into this season?
Well, that's interesting because last year, I think when I talked with you all, I thought our pitching depth was going to be the strength of our team, and as that season went on, our pitching didn't hold up quite as well as we had hoped. So we've got all of our pitching back. We've got our battery back, a combination of 2 or 3 catchers. So our whole infield is basically back. So it should be a plus for us. Hopefully we can build off of last year with that and be a little bit stronger defensively and in the circle as well.
Yeah, talk about in the circle. You got all your pitchers coming back. Shout out your pitchers and what they each bring and how they kind of complement each other.
Well, our main starter last year come tournament time was Katie Fluharty, and she's a big, strong girl and has a lot of velocity. After Katie, we've got Becca Evans, who can spot the ball real well and can change speeds a little bit. And I think that's going to be a good 1-2 punch with that. A couple other girls that we have that we can go to, I think this year is a sophomore, Presley Meadows. She can move the ball around and do a good job of spotting the ball, hopefully this year. And probably her sister, who's a senior this year, she didn't get the pitch last year due to she had a labrum problem with her shoulder, so she was kind of delegated to just play some second base for us. So and she fought through that season with that shoulder injury. Hopefully she'll be strong enough to pitch some innings. Who has some good movement on the ball and some velocity as well.
Coach, let's talk about this conference schedule that's ahead of you two, and what's it going to take to get a piece of this conference crown and get into it, and what are going to be some of the challenges that stand in your way?
Well, I felt last year that we had a very competitive schedule, and I thought it was going to be a benefit to us as we got to the month of May, the last of April there with our conference. And I think due to the weather and all, we lost some of those games and didn't get to play some of the teams that had the real strong pitching that I thought would prepare us for the postseason. Hopefully this year's schedule does that. I've said this many times to many people that have talked to me about the season is that I really think this schedule this year is probably the toughest schedule that we've had since probably 2008. Just the quality of teams that we have on the schedule and the depth and roster that they have coming back is going to be very challenging for us. And we're not just going to be able to go out there and play good and win. We're going to have to play really strong, really good ball and still maybe come up on the short end of some ball games.
And you said it, with a schedule like that, there might be some games that you kind of come up on the short end. How are you going to try to keep your team confident through this tough schedule and let them you kind of celebrate the small victories in each game and try to take confidence whether they win or lose out of these games that are against really tough teams?
Yeah, that's going to be one of the things we're going to have to do, and especially in the circle, because you don't want the girls to take the ball in the circle and not be confident with what they're doing out there, or confident with the players they got playing behind them. So it's going to be a test for us mentally, and that's one of the things I think that we've got to build on, is we got to be mentally a lot tougher than what we were last year.
Looking at the team too, and just the growth you've seen and all the returning ball players, what would you say the team culture of the Edison Wildcats is for the softball team? And in other words, I guess if we were to ask some of your leaders, your senior and upperclassmen leaders for the team, what it means to be a Wildcat at the end of the day, what would you hope they would say?
Thank you. I think it's basically, expect to win. There's an expectation here, and everybody works towards that. I think we've got good chemistry on this team. I think it's going to be better than what we've had maybe in the last couple of years. We've got some great student athletes here, and they're good community people as well. And I think that's what Edison's all about in terms of our softball program, is we got great kids, great students, and kids that are willing to work hard.
And you touched upon it. Talk about the community that you guys play with, and how much the community support means to you guys, and how much this community does back up the softball program.
Well, the biggest thing right now is our new athletic facilities here that our community voted a bond issue on and passed it, and it was basically for new athletic facilities right here on campus at our high school, because for decades now we've had to travel down to Jefferson State Lake to play our softball and baseball games. Well, now we've got probably some of the best facilities around. We've got new all-turf baseball and softball field right here at our high school, and it's going to be exciting to open up the season and to be able to play in those facilities. We've got the best facilities for baseball and softball, and that's something that we've got to work to uphold and hopefully play as well as the facilities are here.
Beautiful facilities, and I mean great cultures on both the baseball and softball teams of success and winning. Talking about this coaching, Coach, what brings you into coaching this team every year, and what keeps you coming back to it? Where do you have that love for coaching, and do you kind of feel the pressures year in and year out to kind of uphold that success that this team and this culture has set?
Yeah. Well, we've had great softball here. Before I came into the program, we had Dave McConnell and Dave Grimm as the coaches in the early years of Edison South and Edison, and they built something here that has been a very high standard, and it's been a challenge for all of us to uphold that standard and try to build on it. And over the 24 years that I've been here now, that our schedule gets tougher, the wins get harder, but I think we've got a good program here, and I think it's something that all of our kids are proud of. The wins and losses, they take care of themselves, and we're just trying to do stronger in the postseason and try to get back to some regionals that has been eluding us here lately.
Coach, we know that the head coach gets all the interviews, they get all the praise, but we know that you have a great staff behind you. I want to give you the time to highlight the people that work with you and the staff that kind of make this program what it is behind you.
Yeah, I've been fortunate that I've had some great people work for me over the last 20-some years, and the ones I've had here in the recent 4 or 5 years have been with us, and two of the young ladies have come up through the program, and so they know what those expectations are. That's Lindsay Morrison and Michaela Tice. Both of them were players for me coming up through, and I've decided to join the Edison staff here as teachers and faculty and coaches, and done a great job in instilling to the kids, what the expectations here are. My varsity assistant, Jeremy Maddox, he's been with me for about a half a dozen years now, and not only is he, my assistant softball coach, but he's also been assistant boys basketball coach, who's now the head boys basketball coach. So we got some hardworking people that not only work in terms of softball, but they work in all around for our student athletes.
You guys get tremendous support too from the community, but for anyone that might be living under a rock in the Edison community, shout out your first game and when the Edison Wildcat faithful can catch the Lady Wildcats on the softball field.
Yeah, we open up on Monday the 28th versus East Liverpool. That's one of our league opponents, and then from there we go to West Virginia and play perennial power John Marshall, who is in the state tournament every year in West Virginia. So those are our first two opponents, and looking forward to getting started here. We've got a few scrimmages here this week to try to fine tune some things and get prepared, and hopefully we have a nice spring.
The countdown is set. There's 7 days until the first game, Coach. We thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all the best of luck this season, and with the success that you guys have, we know that we'll talk to you again real soon.
Okay, I appreciate having you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, we'll see you.
That was Spencer Bendel, the head coach of Edison softball. A great conversation with him. You can find it on ysnlive.com if you missed any part of it, or you can find it on our YouTube page at YSN Live. Make sure if you do, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of the video content that we put up there daily, which are coaches interviews, player interviews, our shows, anything that we have that's video related, it gets put up on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a minute of YSN. Ty, before we get to the next one, really quick, yesterday the All Ohio teams were announced for Divisions 3 and 4. Today it was Division 1 and 2. I want to go over the names real quick to give them a shout out for girls basketball. Boys will be next week because their state championship just finished up this weekend. So we'll wait for the boys, but for the girls, here it is. These are YSN affiliated players on the All Ohio Division 2. Special mention, you have Sophie Gregory from West Branch and Chloe Nieder from Struthers. Honorable mention in Division 2, Abby Davidson from Salem, Riley Hutton from Salem, Anna Lippiot from West Branch, Connie Kugrish from Poland, Maggie Pavlansky from Lakeview, Ciesha Triplet from Girard, and Taylor Skinner from Jefferson. Division 1, special mention, Alyssa Dill from Canfield and Alyssa Pompilia from Howland. Honorable mention, you have Alyssa Masucci from Howland, Zeta Creaky from Fitch, and Brooke Heron from Louisville. So we want to congratulate everyone that made the All Ohio list from Division 1 down in Division 4. It's a special thing to be named on the All Ohio list, whether you're honorable mention, first team, second team, third team, or a special mention.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, you put in your work and it gets recognized too. So recognize all those girls that put in the work and got on the honorable mention list.
Just like yesterday, a lot of those names can be seen at the YSN All-Star Game on March 26th at South Range High School. 5 o'clock girls introduction start. Boys game will follow. And it's going to be a fun time at South Range. Make sure you get out there and see all of our All-Stars from basketball season. Now we go to another interview that was pre-recorded, and it was a great conversation with Tom Otto, the head coach of the Struthers Wildcats baseball team. It's on ysnlive.com, and we are featuring it here on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Here is Tom Otto, head coach of Struthers baseball. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell here with another baseball preview for YSN. We're joined by Struthers baseball head coach Tom Otto. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Oh, thanks for having me. think YSN is great. I love what you guys do for the area and local sports.
Coach, what we like to do with all of our area coaches and teams, we always like to start off with the Meet the Team segment. So I want to give you the opportunity to shout out your returners that are coming back this year, as well as some of the new faces we can expect in Wildcat baseball.
Well, obviously this is my first year at Struthers, but some of the returning starters or lettermen that they would have we're led by Olindo Pizzone, who is a verbal commit in the junior class to go to YSU. He'll play center field for us, and he'll be our number one pitcher. We are also in that junior class, Alec Grazib, who really be kind of a do-it-all guy for us. He'll be our number two pitcher, also catch a little bit, play short when guys are pitching and kind of bounce around. We feel comfortable that Alec will kind of settle into be that rotate guy instead of moving a number of guys around during the course of the game. But we think that we can just do it with him. But they'll be two of our top pitchers. Chance Glasgow is the returning shortstop. Chance is a player I'm very familiar with. I've coached him in the past in the summer in Class B. He will also be our third pitcher. And we feel pretty good about them guys on the mound. Olindo's been over 90 in some bullpens. Alex been in the mid 80s. He's hit 88 a couple times, and Chance has been in the low to mid 80s. So it all starts on the mound for us with those three guys. And then also in that junior class as well, Austin McCullough will catch and play a little first. Depending on who's pitching and what's going on there. We do have three seniors. Two of them, Ronnie Leonard and Drew Day, have been 4-year players here. They will also pitch for us and round out our pitching staff as far as our top 5 guys there. Ronnie will also play a little right field and first base, be a middle of the order guy for us. And Drew will play third when he's not pitching, and he will also be in the middle of the order there. Them guys will probably bat 4 or 5 in the lineup for us. We have a couple sophomores, Grady Moore, who played last year as a freshman. Will come back and play the outfield. He'll play center when Olindo pitches and play left when O isn't on the mound. And we believe that Caleb Sequeira will probably end up being our DH in that sophomore class. And then we have a few freshmen vying for like that last spot to get into the lineup. So, numbers aren't great. We're only about 19 guys, but we just got clarification the other day with 12 underclassmen on the team. We're actually going to try and do a JV program for the first time in a number of years here. So we're excited about the group we have, and we're making progress every day.
Coach, we know that when you're coming into a program in your first year, the most important thing is to build a culture and try to build it from the ground up. So what kind of culture are you trying to build in Struthers? And if someone was going to ask, what's being a Wildcat mean to you under Coach Tom Otto, what would you hope that they kind of answer to that?
Well, I think the big thing for me is, they haven't won here in a while. Some of the guys that are involved in the program now that are coaching are telling me they think it's been 14 since we had a winning record. It's been 11 since we won the conference. I don't think they've won a district since 01. So for me, just the community's been great. The support from the administration's been wonderful. The kids have really bought into what we're trying to teach them. Maybe a little bit more terminology for them and things like that, verbiage that they're getting used to, some of the things that we're trying to convey to them. We've put in coverages for different plays, and I know that's all new to them, but they've been very receptive to coaching, and I'm just excited to be here. I think this is a group that we can win with.
Coach, talk about competing in this tough NE8 conference, and what's going to be some challenges that stand in your way of trying to achieve a conference crown?
Well, the one thing that I'm excited about is I know every coach personally in the conference, through either playing against them at some of the other schools I've been at, or playing and coaching against them in the summer, and so on. But obviously, the conference is stacked from top to bottom. I'm excited to be in this conference. I'm excited the butt heads with some old rivals and be around that group of coaches. Coach Hannock at South Range, obviously they've been the measuring stick for the last couple years. Coach Hannock is actually a former player of mine. He played for me when we were at Goldstein's. I as a coach, him as a player. Coach Granieri, I seen him on the other day. I came in with Coach Granieri. My past's been a little different than his, just because he's been able to stay at one place and coach at his own water. When they redesigned the school system at Cheney, I really didn't have a chance to stay. Obviously we got rid of sports and I had to go elsewhere. Coach Algiers, I actually played for his father in the past. And then, Coach Giraldi, I can remember, doing JVs against his father when I was at Cheney, when he was at Hubbard. Coach Murray, I just talked to Coach Smirkansky and Coach Hay, and those were guys that I was with at Westminster. We were hoping to scrimmage Poland today, but, they couldn't get their field ready. So, I'm very, very familiar with the coaching staffs. Coach Carson in his first year at Lakeview, obviously a former Class B player and a player that played at Niles. So I'm just very excited to be in the conference. Can't wait to get out there. I know Niles has a lot of returners coming back. They're going to be well coached, obviously, with Coach Granieri. Obviously Hubbard, Poland. Them guys are always going to be in the mix there. So we'll see what the season brings.
Coach, since it is your first year, let's let the Struthers community and the Struthers baseball fans get to know you a little bit. Talk about your baseball journey and kind of what brought you to this point, taking over the Struthers job.
Well, for me, I thought it was a job when it came open that I had interest in. Obviously there were several job openings this summer, and it just seemed like a good fit to me. For me, what really did it is the former players that have played for me in the B League, that played at Struthers, reaching out to me and said, this is where we want you to coach. And once I heard that and had some support from the community and former players of mine, I decided to go for the job, and very fortunate enough that they entrusted me with their program. And I'm just excited to be a Wildcat now. As far as my background, this would be my 29th year in coaching. I spent 24 years as a head coach in the B League. I've been running a franchise in the Class B League since 2004. I spent 9 years in the Cheney program under Coach Popio as a JV coach, then all the way up to the assistant varsity coach. I was fortunate enough to coach at my alma mater there for 2 years prior to the news of Cheney losing athletics. And then at that point, my journey kind of took a shift. Some things happened in my personal life. My father passed. I wasn't able to coach high school ball for a couple years. Then I got back in for a year with Coach Hogue at Jackson Milton, who's now the Hubbard AD. Was an assistant there. And then my journey actually took me to Westminster College for 5 years as the recruiting coordinator and head assistant coach. And after that stint, I was at Liberty for the previous 4 years as their head coach. So this would be, I believe, my 7th year as a varsity head coach. But adding up the math real quick, I think this would be my 17th, 18th year as a high school baseball coach.
It's a lot of baseball, basically, is the point of that story. A lot of baseball.
Coach, looking at just the non-conference games, what are some games you're excited with, and pair that with the fact that a lot of these games being housed on Scene Park, and just what does it mean to you to be able to play some of these games on Scene Park, especially that beautiful Scene 1 field?
Well, for me, my journey started in Class B. I started coaching in Class B in '94. I can actually remember a story of myself and Bob Scene sitting in the press box when the park was being built, when the fields were being put in, and he would tell me a couple stories, and he would tell me a couple things about what he wanted it to be, and the legacy that he wanted it to become, and what he wanted for the future. And I just hope every day that myself, Scott, Bobby Beam, Stevie Leslie, the other guys down at Class B, we're living up to that. And there's no better place to play baseball in the state of Ohio. Looking at the schedule, I think we have 18 games in the park this year. I was very fortunate enough to schedule a lot of games because, quite frankly, everyone wants to be down there. As far as the non-conference schedule, I'm excited to have Canfield and Salem both on the schedule, with them being defending district champs in the area. It's kind of weird saying that they're both district champs, being that, I'm kind of old school, and before, you'd be in the same district tournament, that wouldn't happen. But we're excited to have them. We also play Howland, that I think has a chance to be really good. In fact, we have all the schools except for Fitch. We weren't able to get Fitch in that one conference, but Boardman, Harding, the teams there, that's going to give us some good baseball. I don't want to slight anyone at all. We actually open up with West Branch, who I think has a chance to be a very good team in Division II. We play all the Ashtabula teams that are bigger schools: Lakeside, Jefferson, Edgewood. We're playing Crestview, we're playing Springfield, and Lowville, Campbell, to kind of round out the schedule there. So hopefully I got everyone that we're playing.
Coach, when you look at this roster and you look at what you've got, and I'm sure you and the coaching staff have taken time to evaluate it, what are going to be some of your strengths, and what do you think the identity of this baseball team is going to be this year?
Well, like I said, when you have three guys that we believe that can win us baseball games come tournament time, I was telling the kids the other day, that doesn't guarantee anything. It just tells us that we have a puncher's chance in the tournament, that we have an opportunity to, compete against anyone, because they're going to keep us in the game on the mound. Obviously being in the high 80s, low 90s. Alec being mid to high 80s, and then Chance and Chance and O being guys that can throw three pitches. We're trying to get like a third pitch for Alec. It's all going to start on the mound. Defensively, I think we have a chance to be pretty good. Alec will be behind the plate a lot of the time, and we feel like we've developed Austin enough where we trust him. And, Chance at short. Alec will actually have to play short when Chance pitches, and then we'll probably end up with, Olindo in center. And then when he's not pitching, Grady Moore, who we're very excited about as a sophomore, will have to kick over, play center field. But we'll be strong up the middle, and we'll feel like, we're going to make plays defensively. You don't have to make a great play, but just make the routine plays, limit our pitchers' pitch counts, and let them have a chance to get out of innings. And, I think we'll be good enough offensively to scrape together some runs. So, for us, it will start on the mound, and we'll catch the ball. And I think we can scratch and claw to, put up some runs. And we feel very good about the top half of our batting order, and hopefully some of the guys at the bottom develop a little bit more to kind of kick it over and give us a punch. So,
Coach, final question I have for you. I want to give you the opportunity to highlight your assistants and some other big names in that Struthers program that you wouldn't be able to do it without, and some of the assistants you brought on to your coaching staff with you.
Well, for me, the big thing was I was able to get some guys that I've been with in the past. In fact, everybody on the staff has coached with me in some capacity. Mike Vitucci is back with me. He had a stint with me at Liberty, then I lost him for a year. I was able to get him back on board. He's excited because this is his alma mater. He deals mostly with the hitters for us and coaches the infield. But he's a former player of mine, played for me in Class B, played a little bit up at Hiram. He was one of them guys when the job was up. He kind of told me that, that this is the place for you. So I'm excited to have Coach Tooch back with us in the fold with me. Coach AJ Perfilio is with me as well. I've been with AJ since I was a senior in high school. He was a freshman on our district runner-up team at Cheney, on the team I played with when I was a senior. I'm losing the picture here. There we go. Okay. But AJ was, somebody that was on Coach Durkin's staff for over 10 years at Ursuline, in which they won multiple district championships and won a state championship. AJ's been on my coaching staff when I won Class B championships and been to regionals. And, he handles all of our catching duties. He handles our pitchers as well as myself. Just very excited to be with him once again. He was with me at Liberty for a stint as well. And it just makes it easier when you're around those guys. And I can't be thankful enough for them. Also, Johnny Martin's back on the coaching staff as well. He's coached some of my younger teams in Class B, and he's coming back to the Struthers as an assistant. He's dealt with the outfielders for us, and we're just excited to get this underway. And there's a lot of comfort on the coaching staff because they've been with me a lot of years, and it helps if you won together too in the past. Coach Vitucci coaches with Class B as well. So.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to hear from you. Great to get a preview of Struthers baseball. We look forward to the season, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
You got it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
That was Tom Otto, the head coach of Struthers Wildcats, and that'll do it for us today on Running Point. We're going to take a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2. Tomorrow's rundown looks like this. We will have Michael Pace, the head coach of Garfield Baseball. He is confirmed, I believe 1 o'clock is when he is confirmed tomorrow. So don't miss that and much more on Running Point tomorrow at 12 to 2. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3. And then the Power Hour has you covered from 3 to 4. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a wonderful day and night, and stay safe.